What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about. I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj. Battlefield 6 designer says that the skins will be grounded, not grounded the game, but grounded in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like grounded inside of Battlefield. So hopefully that's good news. We'll talk about Dune Awakening loses nearly 80% of its players just 7 weeks after launch. We're going to talk about box office. Fantastic Four braces for a big second weekend drop. Naked Gun locks up $6.3 million on opening day. So we'll talk about the box office. We also have other Battlefield stories here. We got Battlefield 6 confirmed to have skill-based matchmaking and no server browser. What? No server browser. What's wrong with you? All right. Battlefield 6 also clarifies that PC versus console crossplay skill-based matchmaking, potentially solving one of the biggest issues with Battlefield 2042. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We also did a brand new upload this morning at 9 a.m. It's called Battlefield 6, Will EA Kill the Hype Again? Basically, it's a video talking about how everyone's hyping this thing up, how it's the latest, greatest, best thing since sliced bread. But everybody forgets that every single Battlefield since Battlefield 3 has come out broke, buggy, unfinished. Server stability has been terrible at every single day on launch day. So that's what that video is about. So go check that out either now or afterwards. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But make sure you give it a like. Make sure you give it a comment. And help us out. It helps grow the channel. And if you guys like that type of content, hitting the like button lets me know, and I'll make more of that content. We do live streams, uploads, podcasts, gameplay, multiple channels. We have Nerding with 30, 30 and Still Gaming, 30 and Still Jamming, and we have 30 NSG. What's going on, chat? Let me see what's going on here. What's going on, Travis? Eclipse, good morning. Big Mo, what's going on? Sarge, good morning. Jesse, what's going on? Good morning. Roic. I saw Roic. You just joined the Discord. El Nini, good morning. Robert Jones, good morning. Kylo Green, what's going on? Roadkill, what's going on? And Titan, good morning. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. I hurt myself this weekend. I got a sprained wrist. We're doing some remodeling, I guess you could say. We have a shed in the back. We have a shed in the back that we completely and utterly destroyed. Here, let me see if I can get you a nice little picture of it. Let me see. That's you can't see the devastation. It's too bright. It's too bright. Let me see if I lower the brightness. Can you see that? There it is. All right. There's the shed. And as I was lifting and doing some stuff, I was picking up some cinder blocks, and all of a sudden, like, I felt something pull inside my my thumb area, and I was like, oh shit. So I didn't even go to the doctor. I just happened to have this because it's a recurring injury that we have had. So this weekend was very productive. We have no more shed. Soon we got to build a new shed. So that's what I'm doing. How's everyone's weekend? Did you guys play anything fun? Me and Sarge played a little bit of Grounded 2 this weekend after the Wednesday edition show. So I'm really liking it. I'm really liking Grounded 2. Played a little bit of Farm Sim with my son because Farm Sim 2025 came out on Game Pass. Not really enjoying that as much. I'm in that Grounded gameplay mode right now where basically I've moved the base that you saw on stream and built the tower, and everything is in efficient with inside the tower itself. We just found blueberries, I think, like 2 days ago. So now we can actually progress there as well. We upgraded our Omni tool to tier 2. I'm really liking it. Lots of little, and I'm not talking about the bugs in the game, like actual bugs. Things like clip with inside the base itself. Sometimes you get stuck. Sometimes things kind of just disappear. Sometimes the game just crashes. And I don't know if it's grounded or if it's the Unreal Engine, right? Because, look, everyone loves Unreal Engine 5, but the more Unreal Engine 5 games I play, the more I realize that Unreal Engine 5 is not stable. Yeah, I mean, it is not stable. Every single time I play an Unreal Engine game, it crashes and something happens, but they're like, yeah, it's just much easier to make a game. I'm sure it is. But it's also easier to make a game that just crashes all the time. But who knows? Maybe it's just me. I break everything I touch anyway. All right, let's talk about Dune Awakening for the first story. Okay, let's talk about Dune Awakening. So I've been playing, I played Dune Awakening. I have 110 hours inside the game since launch. I haven't been back since my vacation. I went on vacation in early July, and I came back, logged in, paid for my base so it wouldn't get destroyed, and I haven't been back. I don't know if it's because I'm at that point in the game, which is 110 hours. I still have plenty of stuff to do as far as the story missions and stuff go, but I'm there. Like, I'm just kind of done with it. And it has nothing to do with the game, at least personally for me, right? My goal was to get the Ornithopter, and once I got the Ornithopter, it kind of ruined the game for me. So getting the thing that I wanted to get kind of just killed the game for me, because now I have no ambition to go do anything except the story missions. And the story missions, I'm like, I could do that anytime, right? I could do that anytime. But I haven't really been back myself to do an Awakening. So if you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We just talk about video games, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as low as $5. All right, so Dune Awakening loses nearly 80% of its players just 7 weeks after launch. Okay. Funcom open world survival MMO Dune Awakening is losing players fast, with nearly 80% gone just weeks after launch. Dune Awakening's Funcom ambitious survival MMO based iconic sci-fi universe officially launched on PC mid-June of 2025, and the game offered players a mix of base building, faction conflict, spice harvesting, and vehicle combat across the dangerous deserts of Arcaris. And it says there's also plenty of early interest, especially after early access period. But since launch, Dune Awakening has been through a whirlwind of changes in just a few weeks. The game introduced a major update in PvP zones, where it reduced the backlash, and new safe areas were also added in the deep desert, and the exploit fixes were also rolled out nearly every patch. While this adjustment show that Funcom is listening, there is no ignoring that the trend of Dune Awakening player numbers are dropping fast. Now, this could be because of the game. It could be because of the end game. It could be because other games are coming out. There's a lot of games coming out, man. A lot of games coming out. It could be about the time, okay? Yes, I get it. It's not a single-player game, but technically it is, right? It's not an MMO, but technically it's like a light MMO. So usually when single-player games come out, people play it, they beat it, and then they put it down. So in this form, people played the crap out of Dune Awakening. The people that bought it played it 80, 90, 100, 120, 200, 300 hours. People put in the time, and then they put it down. If that's because they beat the story, if that's because they got to end game, if that's because they got to a certain point and was like, I'm good, I don't need to play anymore, that's it, right? Time is the essence here, where 100 hours is 100 hours. Doesn't matter if you put 100 hours in over 3 months. Doesn't matter if you put 100 hours in 1 week. Okay? 100 hours is 100 hours. I put 110 hours in about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. Okay? And I'm at that point. I'm just like, And this could be for any game. Like Battlefield 6 could come out, and let's say I play it. Let's say I buy it, which I don't think I am. But let's say I buy it, and I played 50 hours, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I got my assault class up. I got my whatever it is. Once you play a game, you get to that point. If you beat it, or if you get to that certain point, you're just like, I think I got enough. Like just in chat earlier, right? Grounded 2 is in early access. Mo says he's enjoying it. Brain's like, I'm done for it right now, right? Doesn't mean like Brain's done or Clips is done with the game. He's just done with it now, right? So at that point, is the game dead? Is the game suffering? Not particularly, because they purchased the game, right? Dune Awakening was purchased. It was bought, paid for, and then put down. So Dune Awakening, according to the data, the Steam DB Dune Awakening peaked at 189,333 concurrent players shortly after launch on June 15th. Just 7 weeks later, the 24-hour peak on July 31st was down to 39,116. That's a drop of nearly 80% in daily peak player count. Here's a closer look at the numbers. June 2025 peak 333. July 2025 peak 114,000, down 39%. Average players in July was 48,908, down 49 from June's average of 96,000, and July 31st peak is 39,116. So obviously, we could probably pick 99.9% of the games on Steam, and this is what you would see, right? Besides, like, I don't know, CSGO, maybe Lost Ark. You know what I mean? There's a couple of games that you would see, like maybe Fortnite, whatever, right? You would see it actually happening a little bit differently. It says this steep decline is such a short time and is raising eyebrows and frustrations from the fans. Many post on the Dune Awakening subreddit, and the Steam forums point to mixed burnout, bugs, and game design choices. Players say that the core loop gets repetitive, and endgame PvP feels toxic for new players. Here's the thing. I love this where players say the core loop gets repetitive. Hello? The core loop of any game gets repetitive, right? Let's just say, for instance, I'm playing Destiny. The core loop in Destiny is shooty, shooty, bang, bang, okay? Go do dungeons, go do raids, and you do that over and over and over. Okay, let's go to Forza or Gran Turismo. I'm in a car. I take the race. I race around the track. I'm done waiting races. That's the core loop. Update the car, race another mission. Kind of gets boring. Let's go to Mario Kart. Mario Kart, go around, shoot some shells at people. The core loop gets repetitive. It's the same thing. All games are repetitive. Again, the definition of games, repetitive is in that. Doesn't matter if you're playing baseball, football, basketball, baseball, checkers, chess, Monopoly, video games. Like, imagine if you break down everything to the core loop gets repetitive. You know, reading a book gets repetitive. I got to read from top to bottom, left to right. Then I got to turn the page, and then I got to read again from left to right, from top to bottom. It gets repetitive. It makes no sense to me. Obviously, once you pull back the curtain and you see the wizard, it gets repetitive. It ruins the thing for you. Okay? The endgame PvP feels toxic for new players. First of all, this is an asinine statement here. An endgame PvP feels toxic for new players. If you're an endgame, you're not a new player. You're not a new player. If you made it to endgame, you are not a new player. You can't just get to endgame and be like, hey, I don't even know what's going on. This endgame feels a little weird, a little toxic, right? You already know going in before you even get there, right? Like, what are we talking about? You had to put about 70 hours in the game to get to endgame. Unless you're running with a crew, which means you're still not casual or a new player because you got to put about 35 to 40 hours to get to endgame. Okay? Despite the drop in numbers, Funcom CEO says that they're in for a new long haul. They're in it for the long haul. The game launch statement is promised that Dune Awakening has years worth of plans. Ahead reassures players that it's also just the start of what's to come. Okay? What do you think? Are you still playing Dune Awakening? Or did you step away? I stepped away. But I didn't step away because of the game. I've stepped away because in real life, I went on vacation. And when I came back from vacation, there was new games waiting for me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to play those new games. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think? Do you think Dune Awakening, and actually put any game into the situation, is Dune Awakening in trouble, right? Is input name here for your game that you were playing and you're not playing anymore, are they in trouble? Or is this just the normal factor of life and gaming? Let me know in the comment section. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me scroll back up here. Sarge says 80% gone. Who would have thought that? Sarge has been very vocal on GXG saying, I think you guys said 6 months. You said 6 months, Sarge? Eclipse says, well, these guys in the demo, they're also trained. They're also using in only one hand. If you haven't done that yet, no, Travis talking to. Okay, what's going on, dog? It was just a filler game for me. El Nini says, 30, you're not buying it. We know this already. Well, I'm saying it. I'm saying it, El Nini, because people that watch the video might not watch every single video, right? You know what I mean? Eclipse says, mean like 90,000 people were playing it on PC early, so that's $70 to $100. I think this is probably the best-selling game for them, and they're happy. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I'm choking here. I'm dying. Give me a second. That's the biggest thing that people don't understand. Like, I understand if Dune Awakening was like a free-to-play game, and you had like 80% drop off, then you'd be like, well, that's in trouble, right? Because they're not selling microtransactions. But Dune Awakening was a paid game, right? Was it 40 bucks, 50 bucks? If you got whatever edition. If you paid early, you paid $80, whatever it was, right? So, like, they're successful. They've sold millions and millions of copies. They're not in trouble. This is one of the best-selling games they've had, and they had made enough money from that to continue using and making this game. I'll look at this at, like, New World, or I'll look at this at, like, even their past games, right? Like Conan. Everyone's like, well, Conan's dead. Well, Conan's been around for, like, a decade now. So I think they're fine. Roadkill says this is how it works with me for about every game. Most games, I only got like 10 hours, and then I'm done. Yeah. For me, I think the average game that I have is around like 35 to 40. Obviously, there's games that I have like 200 hours in, then there's games I have like 5 hours in. Sarge says, toxic endgame. El Nini says PvP is all about toxicity. Is it, though? Because I think about the people that play PvP in endgame and games like that, are they toxic? Because everyone playing is the same. So that's just the rule of what it is. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're an endgame, you know, like, the rules. It's like unwritten rules. It's what's going to happen. You could die. You could do this. It's not like someone's ganking you just because they want to. That's the game, right? It's not like a love fest over here. It's not like, oh, kumbaya. Like, I'm going to get, like, you want spice and you go there, people are allowed to kill you. That's what it is, right? Wild West. Sarge says, so that would make them a carried noob who didn't learn anything and then complain about toxic people in the endgame. What a joke. Yeah. Like, if you're made to the endgame, you're not a new player. Unless they're saying a new person in the endgame. But that track going up towards the endgame, you would know that. Roic says, question, what was the last time they had a big update? A big update or just an update? Let me see. I think it was pretty recent. Let's see. The last time they had an update, patch notes, July 16th. So 2 weeks ago was the last patch note. They had June 26th, July 4th, and July 16th. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they took a little vacation. If I'm not mistaken, Roic, I think they took a small vacation afterwards, if I'm not mistaken. Like, to like celebrate, sort of like the game came out, this is what it is, and now we're taking like a week off, 2 weeks off or something like that. Sarge says, fact, there's always a newer game around the corner. 100%. 100%. What's going on, Argus? Good morning. Talking shit, behaving toxic is half the reason for me to even play first-person shooter multiplayer games. That's what I'm saying. It's like an unwritten rule. We know about it, right? Robert Jones says PvP is toxic to players who don't like PvP. Right, Jones. Right? Like, the people in the end game of the game, by the time you get there, you would know what end game is. Like, I can't imagine someone, like, explain this to me, right? Who's a casual gamer, okay? casual gamer. The game's only been out for 2 months. Okay? 2 months. Not even yet. Okay? Month and a half. If you're a casual gamer, you're nowhere near endgame, right? You're nowhere near endgame. So if you're in endgame, by definition, you're not a casual gamer within the last two weeks or the last 2 months, okay? Because the casual gamer plays like 2 hours a week. To get to endgame, you got to put 40, 50 hours in. So if you're 40 to 50 hours in, by definition of a game that's been out for 2 months, you're not a casual gamer. So by that definition, is that the people that are playing that game and have made to endgame are probably watching YouTube videos, probably on some forums, probably trying to talk to other people, maybe in the actual game itself, probably saw people talking about it inside the game with communication. So they probably know what PvP is inside the end game. They probably know the toxicity that's happening in end game or non-toxicity, right? They probably know what's going on. So this thing of new players don't like the what was the term? Let me make sure. The toxicity, new players' toxicity. Yeah. Endgame PvP feels toxic for new players. New players to what? Gaming? Like they've never played a game before? Okay, perhaps. They've never played a game before. They still put in enough time to figure out what the hell's going on. I'm just confused by this specific new player's toxicity. Eclipse says, yeah, the updates every week. I think tomorrow's the next one. Yeah, they took off. I know they took off like 2 weeks for like a vacation, for like a celebration or whatever. What's going on, Aku? Says, I feel like the guy writing this article doesn't understand what a new player is. Right? It seems a little weird. You can't get to endgame and be a new player. Argus says, I'm seeing a lot of memes about Battlefield 6 is better and going to be better than COD. I mean, look, the hype machine is 100% official. It's going on, Argus. Everybody and their mother, right? And look, again, I was just talking about PvP and like Dune Awakening, right? If you know, you know. Okay, I've played every single Battlefield game known to man since the beginning of Battlefield. You know what Battlefield is. You know how Battlefield is. You know what's happened with Battlefield. And if you don't, you can go watch my new video talking about the history of Battlefield, about every time it comes out, the hype machine happens, and yet it comes out broke, buggy, unfinished, server instability, okay? And then we go through the motion of, oh, well, we're going to have to change stuff. We're going to fix it over the 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Okay, this has happened every single Battlefield game. But everybody's like, oh, man, it looks great. And I get it. It does look great. Okay, oh, man, it's back. Battlefield is back. First of all, half the people saying Battlefield is back never played a Battlefield game. They didn't even exist in the frame of Battlefield if they were content creators at the time when the last Battlefield came out, let alone if they played Battlefield. They played Call of Duty. Half the people at the event were Call of Duty, Overwatch streamers. Like, they were just people that were big streamers that they needed to advertise, which obviously they paid a lot of money. I'm not saying Battlefield 6 is a bad game in any way, shape, or form. I'm also not saying that, like, when someone tells me sniping is back in Battlefield, sniping never left in Battlefield. Sniping has always been in Battlefield. It's never sucked in Battlefield. Sniping has always been good in Battlefield, right? Everyone's like, oh, the sound design. The sound design in Battlefield has always been great in Battlefield, right? This is what I don't understand. A lot of these people are talking about Battlefield like they've never played Battlefield before. Tell me you've never played Battlefield before by not telling me you've played Battlefield before, by telling me you're playing the new Battlefield. Everyone's amazed. They're like, oh my God, the sound design is amazing. It's always been amazing. It's been amazing since Battlefield Bad Company. Okay? Sniping has always been good in Battlefield. They're like, oh man, I really like the team play. It's really coming back. It's always been about team play. Akron says a poll recently even showed 80% Like 30,000 people were more interested in Battlefield than the new COD. Travis says, I would argue that if people are saying it looks like better than COD, then COD, something is wrong. I would say that the problem, Travis, is the people that are playing COD have peeked behind the curtain and went, oh my God, COD has been COD. COD hasn't changed in the last 5 years. 4 years? Warzone, cosmetics, it's been the same. Now all of a sudden, now everyone's like, oh, well, Battlefield's coming out, and man, they have competition. I don't know if they know this, but Battlefield's been around since as long as COD. And every single year, COD wins. Even the lowest tier COD has still outdone the best Battlefield. But people don't know these things. Robert Jones says the next COD will outsell Battlefield 6 hands down. Well, are you including that because most people won't have to pay on Xbox for Call of Duty? So that's, I mean, technically 30 million people can play Call of Duty without ever paying for it. You got to go by what's the new thing? Player count, not sales. I mean, even Battlefield's going for 100 million players. Eclipse says, yeah, what's the grandpa's sniper? He plays 2042 as sniper, and he's awesome. Yeah, I'm telling you, everyone's like, okay, I watched a lot of Battlefield content creators, okay? And I say this because they're not actual content creators for Battlefield. They're just creators, okay? But all of a sudden, the people that have never, ever played a Battlefield are telling me how good Battlefield is. This feels a little bit like when I was a kid playing video games and they told me that video games were bad, and then the same person that told me video games is bad is playing video games and telling me how awesome they are. I know. I've been playing video games. I read comics, and when I watched comic book movies and said they were good, and everyone's like, fucking comics suck. And they're like, hey, comic book movies are pretty good. And now it's uncool to like comic or it's uncool to like comic books again. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's happening? Aku says, what I want back are the co-op missions in Battlefield 3. Those were fun. Argus says Call of Duty is going to get the win on numbers. I think Battlefield 6 will get the win on quality as a first-person war PvP game. Well, here's the thing, Argus. In my video that I posted this morning, I asked 2 questions, right? I suggest you guys go watch that video and help me out. But we'll talk about it a little bit here, okay? My 2 biggest concerns are because there's so much hype with Battlefield that the servers will burn, okay? Because they will not have the power, because they've never had the power about the servers, okay? And they're going to completely ruin the hype that they're building up right now, because everyone's going to get in and everyone's going to be like, this is amazing, right? Like, you're going to get into the early access this weekend. People are going to play. They're going to be like, it's great. It's fantastic. It's so good. The sound design, the thing. And I get that. But then it's going to launch because you're going to pre-order, and everyone's going to pre-order. Then day one happens. Everyone plays, and the servers blow up because they have way too many people on day one. Because remember, Battlefield has never been that popular, and everyone thinks it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread, which it might be. But then all of a sudden, the servers crash. And for the next time, because this is what happened with Battlefield 4, okay, it was unplayable. Unplayable. This is what happened with Battlefield 5. This is what happened with Battlefield 2042. Okay. So hopefully Battlefield has spent the money that they made off of 2042 and paying all the 4 companies that they also paid for servers, right? That's one. The second part is, what happens if Battlefield Battle Royale comes out and it's very successful? Can the studio, would the studio still support the regular Battlefield and also support the Battle Royale? I don't know. These are all good questions to ask, okay, which I did ask in my video. But most people are just so excited, so hyped about Battlefield 6 that they think it's going to be the greatest thing and it's going to be flawless. No game with online access has ever been flawless when it comes out. Sorry. Well, the rest of us never said Mind's Eye was Game of the Year. No, nobody said that. Except. Dog says, hope to download the beta today. Titan says, remember doing that hard achievement for the co-op sniper mission. Argus says, well, if Battlefield 6 emulates Call of Duty, I argue that it also they do it as well as a good thing. Those games have a lot of players that enjoy both game styles. If you can get all in one game, that's a win. I think that the time to kill is not as fast as Call of Duty, and the movement is not as fast as Call of Duty, but they've ramped it up, which I think is moving away from what what Battlefield is. Battlefield is not as fast. It's more about the team play aspect of it. But we'll see what happens as the game comes out. I'm gonna play it this weekend, hopefully, and I'll give you my thoughts. We'll probably do extra streams this weekend, late night, or I'll record my video gameplay and then we'll post it. Argus says it's uncool to like comics these days, and it's cool if you like 40,000 individual Pokemon cards. That's right. Ron Slusher says Concord servers do not have to worry about blowing up. That they already blew up, but not blew up because there were so many people playing. Maybe they'll borrow the Concord servers, Ron. Maybe they'll borrow the Concord servers. They're like, hey, you guys aren't using your Concord servers, are you? Titan says it should be 2026 release. They want the Dodge GTA 6 and release in time with Christmas. Titan, they 100%. Analysts said that EA was thinking about releasing before April of 2026. This was in February, right? They're like, hey, the next Battlefield might get pushed into next year, right? I said it was coming out October, November. Okay, and this is before Call of Duty. I'm sorry. This is before Grand Theft Auto 6 moved their date. This is before we even knew Call of Duty. I'm sorry. I keep saying Call of Duty because we're in the Battlefield mindset. This is before Grand Theft Auto 6, okay, was even announced. And we were speculating that it was coming out in the end of the year. And I was like, they either got to get it before and they move it up to September because we thought Grand Theft Auto was coming out in October, November. And I said, if Grand Theft Auto doesn't come out this year, I said then 100% Battlefield 6 comes out this year. Or the Battlefield game comes out this year. And amazing and immaculately, right? All of a sudden, Grand Theft Auto moves over to May, and EA goes, hey, Battlefield's ready. Battlefield's ready. Where have I heard this before? Battlefield 4 was ready. Actually, Battlefield 3 came out, and it was broke when it came out as well, right? Battlefield 4 was ready. Battlefield Hardline was ready. Battlefield 1 was ready. Battlefield 5 was ready. Battlefield 2042 was ready. They were all ready, but they weren't. They all had to get fixed after launch. Why? Why do they have to keep doing what they're doing? Why do they keep making the exact same mistake? Now, I will be floored if this game comes out and it works. Right? It works. That's the bar, by the way. Just working for them. Okay? If it comes out, minus the graphics, minus the gunplay, minus the stuff, when it comes out and it just works, meaning I don't have to get in a lobby and wait 10 minutes to get in, or I get dropped from the actual servers, or it doesn't crash because it can't run on the actual systems. Remember, the hype we watched is on PC. Most people play these games on console. Good luck to you. Let's see what happens, right? Hopefully this weekend, when you test it out, it works beautifully. No problems. Hopefully the parts that they give us, which are curated, by the way, they're making sure that, hey, you're testing out this map, because this is the map that is the best one that we've done so far, or these maps that we've done so far work flawlessly, right? And I know someone's going to say, well, that's what beta testing's for. That's what beta testing's for. Beta testing is to test the servers, the stress test. Absolutely. Absolutely. What they're testing for the beta, and what happens if the hype is so much that people come on and so many people buy the game, pre-order the game, and on day one, all of a sudden, servers start crashing and burning. That's going to look really bad. That's going to kill the hype. But does the company care? It's already money in their pocket. Yeah, Mike, they should do separate settings for different game modes. TTK, COD style playlist, and Battlefield style modes. I don't think they should have any COD related stuff in this game, Argus. It's not the same. I don't want the fast pace, small combat areas. I know they're in here. I know they have team deathmatch. I know they have, all that type of stuff, different game modes. Those game modes are always been here and never really full. It's just people play Battlefield for the vehicles. Team play and vehicles. There's non-vehicle maps, but they're never really the big ones. Metro was a big one, okay? Where it was the choking points in the subway system and whatnot, okay? And people hated that. People still have, PTSD about it, okay? Most people play Battlefield because of the vehicles, because of the tanks, the Jeeps, right? The jets, the helicopters. They're not playing for close combat. Dog says, but this isn't just most games, not just Battlefield. Right. That's my whole point, though, Dog, that everyone thinks that this game's going to come out and it's going to work fantastic. No online game comes out and it's flawless. Battlefield's track record is none of the Battlefield games have come out and worked at launch. They've all had server issues. They've all had problems. Dog also says, I will say that 2042 was horrendous when it came out. Yeah, Battlefield 4. See, a lot of people don't remember, but Battlefield 4 was unplayable. Broke for a month and a half. Nobody could play. Then they fixed it, obviously, because they had to. Right? And we're talking 15 years ago. Titan says, if they are cut content and make maps smaller to run better, they can. Sure, but cutting map sizes is kind of goes against what Battlefield is, isn't it? Roic says that's the same thing that happened to Outriders. Aku says has already seen the classic neck stretching. Have you? You've already seen it? Aku says, we played the vehicles until you get kicked because you're better than in AA than people or pilots. Z says, I'm in meetings right now, and I work, so you're on mute. You show your best worth watching later. I appreciate it. Thank you. Did I get myself a haircut? No, I think I maybe more fell out. I'm not too sure. No, I did not get a haircut. I think most of my hair fell out. All right, let's start going into the Battlefield section here. Okay. I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj, Battlefield 6 designer, or design. Designer says its skins will be grounded. Okay. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. You guys don't want Nicki Minaj in your Battlefield? Okay. The design director of Battlefield 6 says the game's DLC skins will be grounded and will reflect the game's setting, unlike Call of Duty, right? That's the marketing pitch, right? You can see that was in the marketing, right? Someone sat in the room at EA and were like, what can we do to beat Call of Duty? Well, a lot of people don't like watching Nicki Minaj and Beavis and Butthead. What if we made it where it was just normal skins? Well, that sounds awesome. Let's put that in there. Let's see if it works out for them. Because if it's just plain old skins, then people are going to be like, why am I going to buy that? But let's see. Let's see if it pays out for them. It says, speaking at the Battlefield 6 event in London, design director says that he asked about the cosmetic skin plan for the game and how they would work. Uchil replied by stressing that they had to fit the game's theme. And by the way, I think this is the way to go. I don't disagree with him in any way, shape, or form. I'm super happy they're not putting Nicki Minaj, Beavis and Butthead, but at the same time, we'll see how long that lasts. Because why would people play your free-to-play Battle Royale game and buy just a standard-looking other kind of variation of the character they're already using? I don't know. We'll see. Okay? He says it fits the game's theme, gesturing that nearby artwork showing soldiers looking at war-torn New York City. He says, quote, "It has to be grounded," he explained. "This is what Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 was. It was all soldiers on the ground. It was going to be like this," he added, pointing to the artwork. It's a completely different time from Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 compared to microtransaction hell today. Completely different landscape. Now, the only thing I can think of is that they're going front-loaded heavy here, right? Where they hype it up so much that they get 25 million sales, 30 million sales like a Call of Duty. Because at that sales price, if they can sell 20, 25, 30 million copies of a Battlefield at full price, they don't really need microtransactions to sell a lot. Okay? That is an enormous amount of money to have from your game, right? Games that make copies like that don't need to charge microtransactions. Obviously, they're still going to put microtransactions in the game, don't get me wrong. But if they sell that many, so they're trying to hype it up as much as possible. They're trying to tell you it's the best game ever created that they've ever worked on. 4 studios making this game. It's the greatest one ever. So they want you to buy the game, either full price, higher tier versions, right? And if they don't get you there, then they'll get you with the free-to-play, and maybe you'll pick it up afterwards, right, for the campaign or whatnot. He says, "I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj," he noted. "Let's keep it real. Keep it grounded." Although Uchil didn't mention Call of Duty by name, he referenced Nicki Minaj, undoubtedly referencing Activision's game, which has also featured numerous crossovers. Operator skins, including Minaj, in recent years. While also Call of Duty series has also featured numerous celebrity appearances and crossovers in the past, the number of occurrences has risen sharply in recent years, most notably in the form of the operator's skins, allowing the players to play as various celebrities and characters. In the past few years, crossover skin ads COD have also included Messi, also Neymar Jr., Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, NBA star Kevin Durant, Superstars, The Boys, Snoop Dogg, Lara Croft, Spawn, Ash from Evil Dead, Skeletor, the Masters of the Universe, right? You got Lilith from Diablo. You got from Dune. You got Cheech and Chong. You got various WWE wrestlers, Michael Myers, Terminator, Squad game characters, Seth Rogen, Jay Silent Bob, Beavis and Butthead, and characters from American Dad. It sounds like Fortnite. I'll be honest with you. Right? I'll be honest with you. EA Executive Vice President Vince Zampella says that consider Battlefield 6 spiritual successor to fan favorites like Battlefield 3 and 4. Okay, being a spiritual successor of Battlefield 3 and 4 is how we look at it. He's told that the Friends Per Second podcast, what we would look next spiritual successor kind of looked like, and that's where we started. He says, quote, "We have people who have been on Battlefield since the beginning, and then we have a lot of new studios." You have an article said you had 90% of the studio people that are working on the thing are new. They've never worked on a Battlefield game before, right? Having one person that's been on the Battlefield, that worked on Battlefield from like 20 years ago, cool. That's one guy, but the people making the game, 90% of them have never made a Battlefield game before. A lot of new blood to come in and also look at it in a different way. It's important that the Battlefield fans, they know that the core DNA has to be there. We have to get those large-scale maps right. Couldn't say it better myself, right? Core DNA of Battlefield is the large-scale maps, not the small Call of Duty style. It's the large-scale maps. Team play. That is what it is, okay? So let's go from that to actually, let's go to this one, because I think this one covers a little bit more based on what the title is, because this one I think is just talking about crossplay And this one is talking about cross-play, skill-based matchmaking, and potentially. So I saved myself reading multiple articles. Before we get to that, though, let's see what you guys are saying here. PS5 blow. What's going on, man? It says, give it a year. They'll do crazy skins. We shall see. I'm telling you, everything goes out the window. PS5 blows. When the Battle Royale mode comes out, here's the best case scenario for them, worst case scenario for Battlefield fans. Okay? Let's say Battlefield 6 comes out, and it's everything Battlefield 6 players or Battlefield players wanted, right? No server issues. They got the class systems in there. It's beautiful. It's just amazing. Okay? It's beautiful. It's the best ever. Okay? It's just the greatest thing. Then Battle Royale comes out. And then all the players that love Battlefield for what it is, all of a sudden, now you got tens of millions, maybe 100 million people come in to play the Battle Royale. Battle Royale starts to pop off, right? Starts to pop off. EA's ears perk up. They're like, oh my God, you see what's happening? We're having a Fortnite moment here, right? They made the regular game, and all of a sudden, the Battle Royale takes off. People love it. People that have never played a Battlefield game in their entire life are now coming over. People that are growing up from Fortnite, instead of going to COD, now they're playing some Battle Royale and Battlefield. Okay? All of a sudden, the numbers are like 50 million, 60 million, 70 million people playing Battle Royale. They've never seen numbers like this. Small percentage of them are buying microtransactions of the non-cool skins. Then all of a sudden, people start asking because customers are customers, right? Customers are like, man, you should put really cool skins in there. You should put in, I don't know, Terminator, right? You should put Rambo in here. You should put whatever. And they're like, we don't want to do it, but they're willing to pay for it. Then all of a sudden, they start making a lot of money off the Battle Royale. What do you think happens? Do you think they have a studio where they're going to support the Battle Royale and this? They're like, well, we put this much amount of money into this, and this is how much we get. We put very little into this, and this is how much money we get. So what happens? They will abandon the regular game. Conquest won't get updates, right? It'll take really long time to get other updates into the regular game modes going on, but they're okay because there's Portal. They're like, they'll make their own content. We'll work over here by Battle Royale. That's where the money's at, right? Then it loses the complete identity of what Battlefield is. Eclipse says, make it where you can also buy World War II skins and Vietnam, like different wars. That could also would be cool. Here's what I think what's going to happen, Eclipse. I think that you're going to be able to buy your outfits or whatever, and then you can make your maps and whatnot to suit that, right? So they will sell you the Battlefield Bad Company skins. They will sell you the Battlefield 3 outfits, the Battlefield 4 skins, and they'll sell you the Battlefield 1 skins, right? They'll change it up for all the past Battlefields, and they'll sell those skins back in this one. So you can play, right, the newer ones, the older ones, or whatever it is. I would assume that's what they're doing. You got to make cool skins if you're going to sell microtransactions. If you don't, how do you sell them? Titan says, what about that 2042 Santa skin? It's ridiculous. El Nidia says, the Battle Royale will definitely have a Nicki Minaj skin. I can't imagine them. Again, let's say Battlefield 6 is a really big seller. Someone approaches them and said, we'd like to give you a lot of money to put our character inside the game. They're going to turn it down? I don't know, EA turning down money. Ray says, Frostbite engine is the most impressive engine in the industry, in my opinion. Look, people that are shocked that Battlefield 6 looks as good as it does, have they played Star Wars Battlefront? Have they played Star Wars Battlefront from 2017? Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2017 is still probably one of the most gorgeous games ever created. And yet they look at Battlefield 6 and they're like, It was good looking. Have you seen the game that they made 7-8 years ago? Roic says, I like Ghost Recon Breaking Point cosmetics, which are the most part all in the earnable in-game. Dog says, I don't think Battlefield can do a crazy skin as you be a sniper's dream on the game. Remember, they did the crates in Battlefield 1, and it was also guns in silver or gold on them. Really dull, but I also think they were limited. I think they're going to make more skins about guns than they actually about the characters themselves. I said that last week. I think they 100% put more effort into the gun skins than the actual character skins. But here's also another thing. People that have, that are like competitive first-person shooter guys, when they're playing on the PC or even on console, they lower the graphics. They lower the detail so they can see people hiding in bushes and stuff. So the people with the highest computers lower the graphics to the shittiest thing possible. Obviously, it still looks good, but the detail and stuff they get away. So when they're looking through the sniper scope, they can see people hiding in the bushes and whatnot. Jesse says Battlefield 6 Firestorm BR is going to fail again for EA, just not Battlefield 6 style. I hope the game, the single-player game, I shouldn't say the single-player. I hope the base game, the single-player campaign plus the Conquest, Rush, all those modes are fantastic. I hope the game comes out and it's great. I hope the Battle Royale fails. I hope it fails. Okay? I don't want Battle Royale in Battlefield. You can call me a gatekeeper. You can call me whatever you want. Okay? Battle Royale has no place in Battlefield. It didn't have it in Battlefield 5. It didn't have it in Battlefield 2042. They did a Battle Royale, then they did a Tarkov style, and now they're going back to Battle Royale. Those game modes don't need to be inside of Battlefield. Not every game needs a Battle Royale mode. Not every game needs an extraction mode. It just needs to be Battlefield. Dog says Frostbite has destroyed sports games. Well, the engine is not supposed to be for everything. That's why Anthem struggled, right? They were told they had to use Frostbite engine because that's the engine that EA went with. Co-op modes die for BR? Yeah. Yeah. Roic says they're just chasing the trends with BR. Yeah, I don't know why. They're like, oh, we gotta sell. You don't have to have a BR in your game, but they are. They are. Again, worst case scenario is that Battle Royale doesn't work out for them. They abandon it just like they did in the past. Best case scenario for them is Battle Royale takes off, and then they basically just push away the normal BR, the normal Battlefield. All right, let's go to this article here. Battlefield 6 clarifies PC versus console crossplay, skill-based matchmaking, potentially solving one of the biggest issues with Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042 introduced a full crossplay and cross-progression between platforms as EA dabbled in crossplay in early installations. However, the caused more problems than it solved. Will Battlefield 6 get it right? Maybe? Maybe. Battlefield 6 is on the way, and the hype is palatable. Okay? Battlefield 6 is fully revealed in the event last week, showcasing the aggressive return of Battlefield does best. Class-based, squad-oriented, massive-scale combat. That's exactly it. That is what Battlefield is. Okay? Class-based, squad-oriented, massive-scale combat, environmental destruction, okay? Vehicular chaos and ground warfare gives Battlefield 6 the best chance yet at taking on Call of Duty. No. Stop. Every game of Battlefield before this said the exact same thing. This is the year. This is the year. Battlefield 3 is going to be Call of Duty. Battlefield 4 is going to be Call of Duty. Battlefield 1 is going to be Call of Duty. Hardline, closest to Call of Duty. Battlefield 5 is going to be Call of Duty. 2042, this could be the year. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever you want to call it. It's never been. Now, maybe they beat one time, and this is it. Battlefield 6 could be the one that beats Call of Duty. Who knows? But even if it does, it's because it's turning itself into a non-Battlefield game. If it beats Call of Duty, it's because it's more like Call of Duty and it's more like Battle Royale. It's no secret that the predecessor of Battlefield 2042 had was a tad mangled, and the game's map design, structural changes, and altered a lot of the Battlefield fans, as EA lost grip of exactly what or who Battlefield was for and what ultimately is. One aspect of 2042 is heavily disliked in particular was a blanket crossplay between console and PC platforms. The difference between inputs across the console and PC creates an imbalance in different combat situations. PC players can turn fast without sacrificing accuracy, since mice have no dead zones, or ramp up or ramp down time, versus joysticks when it comes to movement. However, console and controller players are granted aim assists, which also can help hit with enemy positions players might otherwise not be able to see, and while others boosting accuracy. Logically, players would also be fully by input, making them things fair for players across both inputs. Companies favor crossplay because of the cheaper and to maintain a single pool of players, at least on paper. But it's degraded users. But is the degraded user experience worth the trade-off? Increasingly, publishers are thinking perhaps not. To that end, Battlefield 6 is introducing a new preferred cross-play system, which also prioritizes players by input. For example, Xbox and PlayStation controller players will also be pooled into matches initially, and also will only start mixing in with mouse and keyboard PC players if absolutely necessary, and vice versa. So, hold on a second. Now, we do know that Battlefield 2042 introduced some bots, like a lot of bots, inside of Battlefield. Now, I'm not saying Battlefield 6 is doing this. I'm just saying that Battlefield 2042 introduced bots, and lots of them. So here it's saying that its preferred crossplay system, which prioritizes players by input. For example, Xbox and PlayStation control players will be pulled into matches initially, and only to start mixing in with mouse and keyboard PC players if absolutely necessary, which means that the pool of players is very small, meaning a lot of people are not playing the game. Otherwise, they keep them separated. So I wonder if they're going to kind of blur the line of what is PC and what is bot and what is console and whatnot. As explained by Battlefield 6 producer, crossplay will be a fallback option if there aren't enough regional player presents to create a match within good latency. In Battlefield 2042, game would also be horrific composition of PC and console players, creating vastly imbalanced matches where mouse accurate and turning speed would win out on most combat situations, particularly in Battlefield 2042. Very open, very flat map design. Well, it was just terrible. Map design was terrible. And look, you can't have a keyboard mouse guy go up against. I mean, look at Sea of Thieves when you had a keyboard and mouse versus controller. Keyboard and mouse could like do a rotation spin, shoot you, and slash you. Meanwhile, the console player is barely moving. It's just not. It's not the same. It says you could turn off the crossplay, but since the setting was buried and hidden away in the settings, most players didn't know it even existed. The pool of players in crossplay turned off, okay, meaning that the matches simply wouldn't be able to find enough players to populate the server with the setting turned on. This preferential system, okay, will hopefully be the best for both worlds, ensuring that rapid matchmaking speeds, also ensuring that the most players in the game are using the same inputs. This sounds like it's going to be a fucking nightmare, okay? Skill-based matchmaking in Battlefield 6. Another aspect of controversy in modern military shooter pertains to skill-based matchmaking. In earlier versions of Call of Duty, skill-based matchmaking was largely randomized, but the more modern versions, the system prioritizes players with smaller skill sets. Microsoft and Activision maintain the skill-based matchmaking leads to longer sessions and better user satisfaction, according to the research. But the discourse focuses on a homogenized feel that the kinds of games that seem to create. If the system is working well and every match requires maximum focus, also plays out with the exact same feel, potentially lacking the dynamic feel of older versions. To that end, have you been curious about how skill-based matchmaking will work in Battlefield 6, since Battlefield games are larger scale with 32 versus 32, finding 64 players with similar skill probably unlikely. Per Charlie Intel above, Battlefield 6 will prioritize ping above all when forming matches, given that the size of the scale of Battlefield matches ensure that the player are still situated as closely as possible to the servers and will create the most ideal experience. Okay, EA says that the skill will factor in varying differences or degrees based on the game's mode and player count. If I had to guess, the smaller scale close quarter combat modes will probably prioritize skill at a little higher than more than chaotic modes. I'll never touch the lower stuff. Never did in the past. Won't do it in this one either. I feel like even if there's some skill-based matchmaking, the lack of kill streaks and focus on team-oriented play in Battlefield 6 can help offset disparities in skill. Good strategies and teamwork count a lot in Battlefield, owning the ability to heal and revive teammates, also crew vehicles. Either way, Battlefield 6 is shaping up nicely. EA has also earned itself a lot of doubt with skepticism over the years, following failures of games like Battlefield 2042, Dragon Age Veilguard, among others. It'd also be nice if Battlefield delivered some serious competition for Call of Duty, which has gone all out with the dumbest cartoon skins imaginable recent months. I love the fact that everyone's on board now hating Call of Duty, where I said as soon as they had the skins, and this is like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was like, they've lost the identity of Call of Duty, and this is going to hurt the brand. And now everyone's like, this is hurting the brand. They shouldn't have done this. But yet they wrote articles about, hey, go buy this one. This one's in the Call of Duty game. Right? They're all hyping it up. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Look, the skill-based matchmaking and signing up or playing with crossplay, this is going to be, you're going to see something happen. Okay? This is exactly what's going to happen. You ready, chat? This is what's going to happen when you start up Battlefield 6. You're going to have someone going through all the emotions. Someone's going to get in and go, oh, my God. So good. So good. Look at this. So great. It's so amazing. Look at this. It's amazing. Do you see the jet? Do you see that gun? Do you hear the gun sounds? Oh, my God. That's so much great. This is hour 5. I can't kill anybody. I can't kill anybody. This is stupid. What's happening? Hour 15. Ugh. I suck, dude. I suck. This is a bunch of cheaters. There's a bunch of cheaters. Okay? I can't take this. I hate being put in with we need a full squat, right? Constantly gonna go in down the hole. Okay? They're gonna love it. They're gonna think it's the greatest thing ever. 15, 20 hours in, they're like, this is stupid. Skill-based matchmaking is dumb. Cross-play, I'm playing against PC players. It's not fair. Blah, 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 blah. That's if the servers work, by the way. That's if the servers work. It's like going through a breakup. They're gonna love it. I love you. You're the best. Can't live without you. So much fun. It's okay. It's all right. It's not working out very well. The TTK is too fast. The movement's too fast. This is bullshit. People are killing me. This guy's a cheater. You see him through the map. Wait for it. Wait for it. I can hear it happening. Because why? Because it's happened with every single Battlefield since the beginning. Let me scroll back up here. Let me see what you guys are saying. Robert Jones says Battlefield 3 CQC DLC was the closest that it came to having COD gameplay. Dog says, feel like Battlefield 6 will beat COD as people are bored of COD. We'll see. COD comes right after. The next COD comes right after this one. So we'll see if they're bored or if they just move on over to Call of Duty right after they're done with Battlefield. Again, it doesn't really matter because Battlefield will sell copies. Ray says, Battlefield on console have mouse and keyboard support. Don't they have mouse and keyboard support? Sure. But how many people do you know that have their Xbox on a table where they can have a mouse and keyboard? I don't know. I know most people have their Xboxes in their living room. I don't know how many people have like a table they want to sit on their lap and play mouse and keyboard while they're playing across the living room. Robert Jones says, I completely forgot they added bots. 100%. You think they're going to take the bots out of Battlefield 6? You think they put them in 2042 and you're not going to put them into Battlefield 6? Aku says, let's be honest. Multiplayer had issues because of console players are using Kronos and Zim. more than PC players cheats. Ray says play smarter, not faster. El Nini says 30 playing the beta. I'm gonna try. Eclipse might give me, because apparently I watched the stream on Twitch to get into the beta, whatever, and I never got it. I never got the thing, and I watched 3 hours on my Twitch channel or whatever. Never got it. So Eclipse might give me a code if he has an extra one, because he might be getting into something else. So if I get in early, I'll play it. If not, I'll just wait for the open beta, and I'll play the beta this weekend. I'll play it, yeah. Ray says the only people complaining about the skill-based matchmaking are the people who like playing against noobs. Albana says, I think a lot of Battlefield players just hate you need to run around too much. I think most Battlefield players just hate the need to run around too much. Would most Battlefield players hate that, or people that didn't play Battlefield hate that? Because Battlefield players like that. That's why they play Battlefield. They play Battlefield because of the vehicles and the wide open maps and the different things. I think what you're saying is the people that don't really play Battlefield don't like Battlefield because you have to run so much. Titan says, dun, dun, dun. People are complaining about skill-based matchmaking in Battlefield because they think Battlefield is removing the server browser. I think they are. I don't know. I have another article talking about the server browser type thing. Big Box says Battlefield 6 is the blue steel of video games. It looks exactly the same as the last 7 Battlefield games. Why doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm talking crazy, taking crazy pills. Big Box, no, you're not. You're not. It's the same blueprint over and over and over, right? Obviously, it looks beautiful. Everyone looks like they're changing up something, and they're doing the exact same thing. People are giving hype right now for Battlefield because they're bringing the dragging of the body in. That was implemented in Battlefield 5, and then they took it out. Then they said they were going to put it in Battlefield 2042, and they took it out, right? And now they're putting it in Battlefield 6. Hopefully it's there by the launch. Hopefully it's there by launch. Titan says, too many COD loyalists with the library of skins. That's another thing, right? If you have, and Call of Duty has done this, where if you buy all your skins on this version of Call of Duty, you can bring them over to the next Call of Duty. Right? It's not a sunk cost fallacy type of thing, and they want to use those skins that they purchased. Right? They're in that game regardless because they spent hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars in that game. I like your concept. You actually let the people speak in your reply. I mean, that's so you have a conversation. That's why we have conversation. Yeah. Sarge says you're buying us skins you don't see. You, sir, are a genius. That's it. It's claimed that Battlefield Battle Royale won't launch until after the new COD. Yeah, well, we talked about the leaked about 2 to 3 months after the game comes out. El Nini says Fantastic Four drop was crazy. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, El Nini. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Robert Jones says, don't trust a Battlefield or Destiny trailer. It's always excellent. Yeah, look, no one here has ever been like, man, that trailer looks mid. No, it looks fantastic. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's hyping you up to be like, I've got to hit the pre-order. Yeah, no, doesn't work on me. Their tricks don't work on me. I am dead inside. They did this to me, right? EA with Battlefield this is like my villain origin story, okay? Battlefield created this because of what they've done over the last 15 years. Big Box says Arc Raiders is probably going to have the largest long-term player base of any big shooter release this year. Embark seems to have taken the magic with them. When does that come out, Big Box? October, right? When does Arc Raiders come out? Doesn't that come out in October as well? Ooh, this could be something big. I totally forgot about Arc Raiders because we haven't been talking about the extraction shooter phase that's happening. Okay, Arc Raiders is getting a lot of good buzz, and that's the old DICE, right? October 30th. Okay. Right? That's old DICE developers. And now they've made the finals, and now they've done Arc Raiders. That's 20 days after. 20 days after. And then Call of Duty comes out. I know they're not the same genre, but Arc Raiders might do better than Battlefield 6. Might do better than Battlefield 6. People were really liking Arc Raiders, and it's different. Right? It's different. It's not the same old. And when I say different, there's a lot less extractions than there are games like Battlefield and whatnot. Then also, let's not forget, we have Delta Force, which is like Battlefield, but free to play. It's going to be very interesting to see what Battlefield 6 happens when it comes out. We'll see. Yep, Arc Raiders is cheaper. Feels good says, how's Battlefield 6 looking? I've barely seen any of it. Did they bring back the destruction from the previous games? Feels good, man. It looks phenomenal. Here, let me bring it up. Right? Let me bring it up. I'll bring up gameplay for you. Hold on one second. Let me go with I like Jack Frag. Yeah. Jack Frag has got
Battlefield 6.
Actually, you know what? He's got this video. I wasn't planning this, but he's got this video talking about new details and stuff like that. So let's watch this real fast, right? He's got some gameplay. We'll talk to him. We'll talk about what he's talking about.
Gameplay is out in the wild now, and since the reveal, there is a ton of new information and surprising details about the game. I've scoured the internet.
I mean, look at this. It looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. That's never been a problem with Battlefield, right? That's never been a problem. Look at Star Wars Battlefront 2 with the Frostbite engine. Looks phenomenal.
Read the blog posts, watched interviews, and today I've got all of the most important news for you. Let's get into it now. Battlefield 6 on Steam has native Steam support and will not require the EA app. This was confirmed on the official website and also from DICE developer Kamal Ake. He also stated that
2042 looked good, Jones. 2042 looked great. It was the gameplay that fucking sucked.
It will use your Steam user.
Yeah, I love Jack Frag.
Name. The new version of Portal was shown and will allow players to create massively varied experiences.
This is going to be... I don't know how I feel about Portal going... I don't want to say Fortnite-esque type of stuff, like make what you want. I'm sure it'll be fun and stuff. This is huge. Just making your own stuff is huge. After all the articles that we've read about like Roadblocks and Minecraft and Fortnite and how there's millions of people playing a map inside of a game, right? The game is not doing very good, but the map inside the game is doing better than most games out there. It's crazy. So this is a huge thing, the Portal thing. The way they're doing Portal now, not what they did before.
From the base game. In the clip here, we see the new spatial editor adding giant ramps into a map, creating what appeared to be an only up style obstacle course. We also see jet races and wingsuit style courses. Alexia Christofi, a producer at DICE, mentioned in an interview with Mirror Station USA that internally they had play-tested game modes with custom scripting and AI improvements, so you're able to make your own custom UI.
Internal, they have play-tested game modes with custom scripting and AI improvements, so able to make your own custom UI and improve how the NPCs behave and perform. There's also a lot of host and tweakables of mutators, like the ability to close weapons, hardcore mode, and what's seeing somebody is also the studio-created top-down 2D shooter, or even a horde mode. That's pretty cool. I have to admit that. That's pretty cool. To stop the monotony of doing the same thing over and over, go to Portal, try to do something different and whatnot. I would rather play that than Battle Royale.
And improve how the NPCs behave and perform. There's a whole host of tweakables and mutators like the ability to do closed weapons, hardcore mode. What we're seeing is somebody in the studio create a top-down 2D shooter, or even a horde mode where you purchase guns from an MCOM. So this is pretty wild considering how limited the original version of Portal was in 2042. In Battlefield 6 Portal, based on what Alexia said here, it appears that the sky is the limit, letting players add geometry, script AI.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. The sky is the limit. Because, yeah, never mind. All right.
For single-player-like experiences, change camera positions, imagine a Desert Strike attack helicopter-style game mode, third-person shooter battles perhaps, and things like a COD Zombies mode with rounds, hordes, and purchasable guns. If this all works as advertised, then it could be incredible for the game, allowing players to use a custom version of Godot for building their experiences. Fingers crossed that they deliver on all of this. In the multiplayer reveal trailer and
we actually talked about Portal when it first came out. I actually thought it was one of the better parts of 2042 when they first announced it, Jones. I really thought they were going to do more with it, but then they abandoned it. They abandoned it because they had to fix 2042.
Additional footage, we can see soldiers deploying assault ladders. It looks like these can be used to cross gaps, acting as a makeshift bridge, but also when propped up against buildings, can be used to enter.
This is going to be OP, right? These ladders are going to be OP, man, because you can get into places you never thought. People are going to, you give gamers a time, right? They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. They'll put like 2 ladders on top of each other. They'll get on buildings you've never even thought you could get on top of.
Higher up windows, allowing for flanking opportunities that have not been possible before in previous Battlefield games outside of grapple hooks. It appears it can be deployed on assets too, like the top of the car, for example.
I'm telling you. You give a gamer a second, they'll figure out something. Like even this thing in the back, right? If your ladder is long enough, they'll put it off of this staircase and like go off this direction to this building so you can get up to that window.
This could be a game-changing gadget for the assault class, and I imagine a bit of a headache for DICE because I'm sure that you could use this to get into plenty of positions that you weren't really supposed to be. Battlefield design director Shashank Uchil commented on skins and cosmetics in an interview with DoubleTap.com.
I know this is going to sound really ridiculous, okay? I love Battlefield. It's my favorite series, okay? I've been playing every single Battlefield. I've said this multiple times. I feel like the destruction looks great, right? But I feel like it looks different. And maybe I'm making it up in my head. I have to go back and look at other stuff. But I feel like Battlefield 1 is like peak destruction. When you look at the destruction
plenty of positions
here,
that you weren't really supposed to
watch the building after this shot when it's like collapsing.
To be. Because I'm sure that you could use this to get into plenty of positions that you weren't really supposed to be. Battlefield design director Shashank.
You see it? It kind of looks cheesier. Now, don't get me wrong. While you're in the moment, and you're running around as a fucking tank shooting, and you're shooting weapons and grenades are going off, you're not going to notice that. But I just look at it. It feels like the destruction is not as detailed. Yeah, there's destruction. But I feel like the destruction in Battlefield 1 was better. And I don't think they changed it. I don't know.
Shashank Uchil commented.
You see how it just shatters? You see how it just like... It like hits the thing and just shatters, right? Like I feel like why is that exploding right there? Why is that all of a sudden explode? I don't know.
On skins and cosmetics in an interview with DoubleTap.com. He said it has to be grounded. That is what BF3 and BF4 was. It was all soldiers on the ground. It's going to be like this. Uchil said, pointing at the key art featuring soldiers in soldier gear looking out over a war-torn New York City. He added,
yeah, Battlefield 1. Destruction in Battlefield 1 was really good.
I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj. Let's keep it real, keep it grounded. Good to hear that. Hopefully that trend continues throughout the lives of...
Like, obviously, like, as she's, like, running into buildings and explosions happening, it looks phenomenal. I'm not taking that away from him.
Service of the game. And
like, right there, right? Like, you see the rocket come in, right? It looks like a rocket, I think, came in. You know, just an explosion. Yeah, rocket. Wait, a rocket? Yeah, rocket went out. But it exploded
to the
anyway? I'm
game,
confused.
and DICE realised how sought after the authentic military aesthetic in current first-person shooter games is. David Serland, senior producer on the game, elaborated on this in a comicbook.com interview. That's also a part of the class identity, how you look, probably more how you think you look than how you actually see someone. We have this shoulder identifier for classes, like with Recon, it's 3 antennas near their shoulder, similar to Battlefield 3. He continued to say
I think Battlefield 1 is one of the better Battlefields ever created. And when it came out, it wasn't beloved because of the least amount of weapons and stuff that was in the actual game. But the game itself is like phenomenal. We still play it. It's 9 years old.
certain aspects of different classes aren't allowed to be interchangeable to avoid confusion. For example, there's a ghillie material on the Recon skins, and they're not used on the other classes to really emphasize the differences. He said there are some rules here, but it's looser rules than it's always going to look like this, but it needs to feel like it fits the universe, because part of why I think we're getting good feedback is because it feels like...
Feels good. I enjoyed 2042, but I was pissed off, man, when I played the beta, and I was like, this is not it. I hated that they changed the classes. They kind of went back. They fixed the maps. Like, if you go back and play 2042 now, it's good, but it's not great. It's above Hardline for me.
3 and 4 in a sense where it fits. I think that's really important. Cool, so I guess that when players purchase or unlock skins, they will always have this class identifier on their character model somewhere. There are plenty of other additional details in the footage that they released too. Here we can see a Recon player has deployed a very detailed decoy soldier behind a shield. Usually when enemy players fire at these,
that's cool. I didn't recognize that.
They are automatically spotted for their mistake. We see a Recon drone flying here, confirming their existence in the game, but more importantly, a player has added 3 C4 explosives to it, working with their teammate to fly over to the bridge before...
That's a Battlefield moment.
...detonating.
And let me tell you something. The Battlefield players, figured that out. That wasn't a thing. And then when they came out with 2042, they're like, hey, remember this? We're doing the thing that you guys came up with. Bad company put all the C4 on our, on ATVs and run them in and just jump off and blow up the base.
Detonating to devastating effect. Also, the C4 detonator...
That wasn't designed. That wasn't by design. That was the gamers figured something out. And they went, that's cool. We'll leave it.
Displays the phrase bye-bye once the explosives have been detonated. The sledgehammer is a powerful new melee weapon seen here, destroying floorboards very effectively.
This will be interesting with the hammer, the sledgehammer. Now, obviously, there's going to be an achievement. Get a sledgehammer kill, okay, which will be really hard, I think. But to break the floors from above and the walls, it's pretty good.
Unfortunately, it isn't in the beta build to play with yet, but I have seen leaked clips of players using this to destroy parts of buildings piece by piece. I don't think we've ever had anything like that in a Battlefield game before. The M26...
No, you would use a grenade to blow up the door off the floor.
Master Assault class popped up too. This was a very popular gadget in BF3, perhaps here loaded with incendiary rounds. M320 as well, great for punching holes in walls and generally blowing enemies up.
Right, that's what we do.
We can see a player deploying a mortar here, confirming that they will be back in BF6. The support player here rushing to set it up. I imagine that we'll get different types of ammunition with this too, explosive, smoke, etc. No idea on how effective these are going to be though. Operation Firestorm is returning. This was a fan favourite map in Battlefield 3 that was remade in BF4, and the BF6 version here looks true to the original in the clips that we see, and plus they retain the jets that have to take off via runways. Perhaps even...
I hope that's back. I hope that's back where you have to run on the runway to get the vehicles. I hated that you pick a vehicle and you're just in the air. I hated that shit.
Even custom color grading too to make it look more like that BF3 blue tint. It's hard to tell. 2 new types of rocket launchers confirmed here. The Javelin on the left, great for anti-tank. And I think the one on the right here is either the SMOR or the M136AT4. Both great options. And here we see an MP5 with a red dot and suppressor. Pretty sick to have that in the game. I'm sure that's going to be a powerful fan favorite. And Chinook helicopters might just be some kind of intro cinematic.
If that's in the game, that's pretty cool, because you can hover off like I used to do in Battlefield 2042 and stuff. You just we would put the mods in, and then you would hover above, or in Vietnam, you would have the helicopter, and you would have a spawn point, and people would just parachute out.
But it would be amazing to pilot these if they're in the game, and that's coming. I imagine you could put maybe 10 to 12 soldiers in this for epic flanking maneuvers around the back of maps. The Battlefield 6 open beta will start very soon on all platforms with no pre-order requirement for access. Weekend 1.
Okay. Play for free early access. Watch creators during today's streamer showcase, which I didn't get a thing. Okay. August 7th and 8th, which is this weekend. Then 9 and 10, which is the Monday, Tuesday. And then August 14th and 17th.
One is August 9th to 10th. However, you can play on August 7th to 8th if you're an EA Play Pro subscriber. You managed to get a key from drops or
7 and 8 is only for a subscriber. Got it.
Creators, or you signed up to BF Labs before July 31st.
I thought I was signed in. I've been signed in for a fucking decade, or whatever it was, 5 years, 4 years, whatever that was for 2042, and yet I didn't get anything.
And then weekend 2 is August
Because I talk so much shit.
14th to 17th. They also released the minimum and recommended open beta PC specs here. Minimum GPU will be an RTX 2060, AMD 5600 XT, or an Intel Arc A380. This is nice to see as well on PCGamer.com. 55 gig will be the minimum install size and 80 gig for the recommended specs. An EA representative here said, yes, you will be able to pick and choose which components of the game you install. There will be a shared base package, and then you can separately choose to install the main components, i.e. single player, multiplayer, etc. Great to see, and compared to other AAA contemporary FPS games, it could end up being quite a small install size. Better for people who have limited hard drive space and perhaps slower internet connections. You might play through the single player and then decide that you want to uninstall it.
I want to run around with no scope sniper rifle. That's what I want.
Of course, while still retaining access to
I don't want to see the glare from the scope.
the multiplayer. Currently, there's no plans for a Switch 2 and Steam Deck version of the game. Consoles will get quality and performance modes, and there will be visual enhancements for the PS5 Pro. 60 FPS is the target, but with performance modes, it could be possible to get more. This was confirmed by Florian Lebian in an interview with Tech & Co. There will be 9 maps and 8 modes at launch of the game on October 10th.
Look at that. The whole building. The whole building just, he shoots the one rocket. Now there's multiple explosions happening, right? Hold on. He shoots the rocket. It hits the wall right there. And then all of a sudden, all the air conditioning units blow up. Okay.
10th. The game modes are Conquest, Breakthrough, Rush, Escalation, Squad Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, and Domination. Escalation is a new game mode, and in a couple of interviews that I've seen with Vince Ampella and Byron Beatty, both of them said that they've been having a blast playing this in the studios, and it's kind of a new twist on Conquest. So it might start with all of the capture points available, but as the game goes on, the number of capture points are reduced, and it consolidates the battle at the end. So I imagine
sort of like, well, that'd be interesting. Because obviously it's like a circle closing, but it's not. But it's, let's say there's A, B, C, D, E, right? And one match you get C and D, and it closes, and E and E, and it goes down to the last one. Once you take it over, you have to close in on the last. So it can constantly change on the locations. That could be pretty interesting.
that over time the map gets smaller and smaller, increasing the intensity of the combat, the number of vehicles, etc. And then the first team to lock down 3 objectives will win. Sounds pretty intense. The launch maps are as follows: Liberation Peak, Empire State, New Sobeck City, Manhattan Bridge, the Iberian Offensive, Mirak Valley.
So 3 in New York. Oh no, 2 in New York.
Siege of Cairo, Saints Quarter, and Operation Firestorm. No word on how many new maps there's going to be in live service yet, but I would hope that it's going to be more than 1 per season that we saw in 2042. Ideally, I'd like to see 3 or 4 per season if they're up to a good standard of quality.
At least 2. At least 2 maps per season.
I think realistically we might see 2. In terms of seasonal events for the game, there was an event in Hong Kong yesterday and a couple of DICE developers.
Yeah, Sarge, I think there's too many game modes as well. I think a nice game mode's 4 to 5. They have, I think, 7 before Battle Royale.
Developers were there. Jack here said on Reddit, we will have numerous seasonal events and we've invested heavily in them. We've already shown some of them, so stay tuned for more to come. Anna, another dev there, said our goal is to keep the game fresh and engaging, and we'll continue to introduce new modes, weapons and maps. In regards to adding more classic Battlefield maps, Jack said we've added Portal to the user experience, which allows players to create their own game ideas and builds. As for whether we'll be introducing more classic maps or weapons in the future, unfortunately I can't reveal much at this time.
They're bringing Metro back. Come on now. Come on, they're bringing Metro back.
Anna said in reply to this, you won't be able to play them in today's event, but there will be a classic map Firestorm in Battlefield 6. We'll introduce classic builds or maps based on fan and player requests. Of course, we have so many options, and we want to choose the best possible ones to bring back the good old days of playing Battlefield. This is interesting, and it says to me that yes, there will be more remakes of classic Battlefield maps in the live service. Which ones would you choose? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd hazard a guess that we'll see Operation Metro returning at some
Even he said it. Yeah, 100%.
point. Some of the best BF3 maps in general I think would fit pretty well in this game. A couple other snippets from Alexia.
Have they said anything? Have they said anything about weather effects? Right? I know they haven't said like tornadoes or anything like that. I'm talking about, have they said anything about, is there rain? Is there night maps? Right? Because back in the old, Battlefield games, there was night, right? There was night maps. There was day, night type of stuff. They put a tornado in the last one. I don't think that's a selling point this one, right? Are they going to do anything with Levolution, right? Leave it up to EA to always take stuff out and then bring it back later.
Here in a reply about console-specific crossplay. Not quite, it's crossplay on or off.
Like, okay, hold on a second. Like, for instance, in Battlefield 1, we had the blimp or the train come in. That was the big thing, right? In Battlefield 3, we had like the dam exploded, changed the map, or the building collapsed. Okay, like that type of stuff. What is that in this game? Is there something in this game about that? Like I don't know. They haven't said anything about that.
Off, but if crossplay is on, we treat it as console preferred crossplay. So we'll try and matchmake you with other players on console before falling back to full crossplay.
They already answered your question, Travis. Robert Jones answered your question in chat. It all depends. It all depends on who you get. Old Battlefield guys would help you out, but we're in a different breed now, right? People don't communicate as well anymore.
If we can't find you a match with only / mostly console players. So this is great for those console players who want to avoid PC, but it doesn't sound like a 100% guarantee of console only, and I think that it would be nice to give console players that console only option. And in a reply about weapons here, the reveal event and open beta will have a reduced set of weapons, less than we'll have at launch. We'll have 40 plus at launch. Pretty decent number of weapons.
Oh, 40
weapons for launch, I think, and the same for vehicles too. You replied yes to a question, will there be more than what we see in the beta? I think that's kind of obvious, right? We haven't seen the Little Bird, we haven't seen different types of transport helicopters, different types of jets, I think. There's pictures of rib boats floating around too, so I imagine that naval combat will be coming down the line. At the end of the event, we got to see a teaser for the...
This right here is either going to bomb or it's going to destroy Battlefield. The Battle Royale is either going to bomb or it's going to destroy Battlefield.
Battlefield Battle Royale game mode. It looks to be set in a sunny Los Angeles. We see a transport helicopter, multiple squads, an IFV armored combat vehicle, and a golf buggy. It's a great callback to Battlefield Bad Company. Yep. It then pans to a firestorm. Apparently the firestorm is back and devastating a new environment, pushing the players together. Then it confirmed that the Battle Royale will be coming to playtest in BF Labs soon. There's been rumors that EA want to see 100 million players for Battlefield. I'm not sure that's attainable, but a free-to-play Battle Royale will definitely help in that regard if it's fun to play and offers comprehensive live service updates. I imagine if they release this too, it will be separate from the multiplayer, but perhaps featuring cross-progression as Call of Duty operate with the main multiplayer game and COD Warzone.
D-Money says, can you share which you think it will likely be, though? Are you 60% it will bomb or 60% it will blow up? I don't have a percentage of if it's going to succeed or not. What I'm saying, D-Money, is if the Battle Royale takes off, Battlefield is done. Like, what Battlefield is done. If the Battle Royale blows up like a Fortnite did, Battlefield, as we know it, doesn't exist anymore because the corporate suits will 100% move towards what that is making. If it's making a crap ton of money, that's where it's going. Okay? If the Battle Royale doesn't succeed, it just goes away and Battlefield stays as is.
Finally, a little detail that I noticed when playing the game. The RPGs seem to have a minimum explosive distance. As you can
that's interesting.
When playing the game, the RPGs seem to have a minimum
I wonder if that's so you don't blow up your own teammates and stuff.
Explosive distance. As you can see here in a
Can you pick it back up?
couple of these clips, if I'm too close to the surface that I want to destroy, the rocket does not explode and instead bounces off with no explosive effect. Here I hit the geometry in front of me and it appears that the rocket has physics too.
So you lose it. You just lose it.
So I'm thinking there might be scenarios where if you're close enough to a player, you could fire this at them and kill them without it ever exploding. Perhaps even bounce it off a wall and do the same if they're close enough. Pretty cool. And with that said, that's all that I've got for today, folks. Do let me know if you found out any more information in the comments. I'm sure that we'll learn much more over the coming weeks. Of course, I'm going to be playing and streaming, creating videos on the beta when it releases in a few days' time. Make sure to check it out for yourself. Anyone can get it as far as they've said. You don't need to put any money down, anything like that. Play it, see how you feel, and then decide, okay, maybe I'll pick this up or not. I'd advise to wait for release because we don't know how the launch is going to be, and the last couple of launches have been real bad. So
5 launches have been bad. All 5. Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5. I'm sorry. Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Hardline. Okay. Battlefield 5, right? And 2042. That's 6. The last 6, when they come out, weren't very good when it came out. People forget that. People forget that Battlefield 3 suffered and Battlefield 4 suffered and all of them, but they did.
keep your wits about you, that's all. It's a very strong first impression though for me based on what I played in the beta. And I wanted to say a big thank you to you guys for tuning in. The video that I released from the capture event has done amazing. I'm very grateful for you all tuning in, checking it out, leaving comments and watching that. I tried to fit in as much stuff as I could. And then of course the stream that we did shortly after the video, we had 20,000 concurrent people watching, which is just crazy. And I'm blown away by all of your supporters. I couldn't go to events like that if you guys weren't here supporting me. So thank you once again. It means a lot to me. Subscribe if you're new here. Drop me a like if you enjoyed the video. Dislike if you didn't. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
All right. Let me grab his link real fast and put it in because I wasn't gonna watch his video, but I did, so I'm gonna put it in the description down below. Give him a follow. He doesn't need my help, but I like watching him. He's like my go-to as far as anything that has to do with first-person shooters and stuff like that. He's just fun to watch. All right, let's go from that to box office. But before I do that, I gotta go feed my son. So I'll be right back. I'll put it on the short break. I'll put some music on, and I'll be back in just a second. All right.
The smile wide in the keynote light. Talk about passion, art, and pride. We believe in people in every voice. Right before they cut the staff, no choice. Your favorite game just hit a high. Record profits, stocks in the sky. Then the devs get pink slips through the door. Tell me, what the hell are we cheering for? Nothing means anything anymore. Truth's just branding dressed in metaphor. They rake in billions, then ask for more, while burning down the hands that built the core. Nothing means anything anymore. They sell you dreams with a world premiere, but every trailer hides the fear. Crunch time silence, sleepless nights, so suits can shine in neon lights. They say we're like family, we care, we grow, then toss you out for the quarterly show. And when you speak, they'll spin it again. Your feedback matters, just not to them. Nothing means anything anymore. Lies and layers on a showroom floor. They'll break the soul just to please a board, then clap their hands like they deserve awards. Nothing means anything anymore. We're not bitter, we're just awake. Tired of giving more than they take. If this is progress, then count me out. 'Cause all they build now is built on doubt. We value transparency. We're committed to diversity. We're excited for the future. Then lay off half the damn studio. What a joke. Nothing means anything anymore. It's all a lie wrapped in a friendly store. They kill the spark just to please the score, then wonder why we don't care no more. Nothing means anything anymore. So don't talk change if you won't bleed. Don't preach love if you lead with greed. We see the rug behind the doors, and nothing means anything anymore.
All right. Let's go over to the box office. This past weekend, Fantastic Four's second weekend didn't do very well, right? So let's go to the box office. And what I find actually really weird, usually, they like look at the latest dailies, right? Sunday, August 3rd. Fantastic Four is still in first place with 12.8 million. But if we go look at this list, do you guys notice something? Do you guys notice something? Let's go down the list for a second. Right? This is dailies, right? For Sunday's numbers. Fantastic Four, Bad Guys 2, Naked Gun, Jurassic Rebirth together, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Smurfs, How to Train Your Dragon, Eddington, Lilo and Stitch, ELO, Mission Impossible, Sorry Baby, Oh Hi, The Home, 28 Years Later, Architecture, Materialists, and Thunderbolts. Where is Superman? Did Superman not get in the top 20 or top 19? Right? They haven't reported on the Superman numbers yet for this weekend. Why is that? Why is that? The last reported is Friday. They're just not reporting on Superman anymore. Saturday numbers, Sunday numbers, they're not reporting. So I want to talk about this a little bit. Okay. Now, obviously, so it's a little weird because everyone thinks that, you know, this is going to break like 700 million or whatever. I picked 715 million before the movie even came out. That's what I thought it was going to make. Now it looks like it's not even going to break 615 million, which means that this Superman, okay, which everyone said is a better Superman than the Man of Steel, okay, is not going to break the Man of Steel box office, which was like 668 million or something like that. Okay. They're about 110 million below. And if you look at the numbers that are happening right now domestically, okay, 2 million, 4 million, 2 million, 2 million, 3 million. Maybe they made 5 million on Saturday, maybe a 4 million, right? Between now and when it leaves the theater, it'll probably make another 30 million, maybe 40 million. We're talking 600 million. That's just, you know, another 40, 50 million here. So 350, 360 million domestically, which is great. But internationally is just not there. So this movie might not make money. Might not make money. At least in the movie theaters. Okay. Then we go back to Fantastic Four. And Fantastic Four basically just jumped off a cliff. Okay. Jumped off a cliff. Now, domestically, 198 million and 170 million internationally for 368 million worldwide. But they huge drop off. Okay, huge drop off. And it's just very not good for Fantastic Four. Now, again, Fantastic Four has a $200 million budget that we know of. And with another $150 to $200 million marketing campaign. So at $400 million, it needs to make somewhere around $600 to $700 million to make a profit. And right now it's at 368. Now, obviously, it's only been out for 10 days. But if we compare this to Superman, all right, so day 8, 9, and 10 are at 11, 15, and 12. Okay, so let's go back to Superman. So 8, 9, and 10, 16, 23, 18. Okay, and then Superman was higher at that point than what Fantastic Four is. Okay, now Fantastic Four is getting a little bit more love internationally than it is for Superman. But overall, diminishing returns as far as where it's going to go down from here. So now 11, 12, 13, 14, you know, the weekday here, 18, 6, 10, 6. You know, if that's the case and it goes about the same percentage-wise, Fantastic Four looks like it's not even going to break 550 million by the end of its run, which that means it'll probably be one of the worst Marvel films as far as budget to not making a profit. And that's terrible, right? And it goes into a bigger question. Are people just burnt out, not with superheroes? Are they just burnt out with comic books in general, right? I mean, I know it's superheroes, but like, is it bad writing? Is it just they're done with this phase? Are they just done with Disney? There's a lot of stuff going on here because, again, DC is not making their money back with Superman. And if Superman can't break 600-700 million, their next film is Supergirl. I don't see that breaking that. The only way this changes for Marvel, for DC, for the studios, is they have to stop spending $200 million for a movie. They got to bring it down to half that, 100 million, 125 million. Okay. So Naked Gun, Their budget was $40 million. $40 million for Naked Gun, and Naked Gun got $28 million. Okay? Now, they're not going to go up a dramatic amount here. This might end up with 40 to 50 million. $40 million for Naked Gun's a lot of fucking money. Okay? A lot of freaking money. The movie theaters are just not making the money that they used to because there's less people going. Higher ticket prices, less people going. So now, for every one person, the average ticket price right now is $16. Right? Back 10 years ago, it was $8. So now, one person going to the movie theaters counts for two people financially, basically. Okay? So less people are seeing these films. The average ticket price or the average income is $1,800 for the theater for Naked Gun. So let's look at this, right? Box office, Fantastic Four braces for a big second weekend drop. The Naked Gun locks up with $6.3 million in opening day. Fantastic Four, First Steps is hanging in at number one in the sophomore outing and also the box office, despite disappointing weekend. Two results, competition from Dave Franco, Detective Frank Drebins Jr., and the Bad Guys crew. Fantastic Four grossed $11.7 million domestically in its second Friday on the big screen. Marketing devastating, 80% drop from its debut. Ouch. Okay. I like the movie. The movie's not a bad movie. But it's just not going to make its money back. If the poor turnout continues, the film will most likely fall short of the initial weekend, two estimates of 45 to 52 million. What did it get for this weekend? It made 38 million. 38 million. It was projected 45 to 52. Wow. By Sunday, the domestic grand total currently sits at 170 million. It could reach a high as 198 million by the end of the weekend. Marvel shelled out more than $200 million to produce the Fantastic Four. The actual number that's on the books from Marvel, I believe, is 200 million, and then I think it's about 125 to 150 million marketing budget. Okay, the comic book tentpole headline: Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, okay, Joseph Quinn, was shaped up to the MCU's first post-pandemic success to bring in a new superhero team in cinema and missing the mark of Thunderbolts in May. And the Marvels in 2023, the Eternals in 2021. However, the film appears to be having trouble expanding past comic book fans, even after a solid start of 118 million. With Fantastic Four struggling, the theater owners are hoping that early August wins from the also week 3 major releases, Universal of DreamWorks animated sequel, Bad Guys 2, Paramount's Naked Gun, and Neon has also hit Hers and Her body horror thriller together. Universal and DreamWorks, the Bad Guys 2 took in second earnings at $9.1 million on Friday, with 3,852 screens, and an animated sequel to projected of the highest of $22 million over the weekend. Okay. Naked Gun came in third on Friday, locked up at 6.3 domestically. I heard good things about it. I'm not going to watch it in theaters, but I heard good things about the Naked Gun movie. Solid result considering the theatrical comedies. The film also has boosted a slim 85-minute runtime, looks gross to $16.5 million by Sunday. Naked Gun sees a typically brooding from Liam Neeson. Okay, and it also says here, Paramount also spent $42 million on the reboot. $42 million is a really lot of money for that type of movie. The original Naked Gun, spawned from 1982 TV series Police Squad, was led by a legendary funny man, Leslie Nielsen. It's also the years following 1988 release. The film became a singular film in America comedy canon. Two sequels were also released in 91. Naked Gun 2.5 and The Smell of Fear, and 1994's Naked Gun 33 and 1/3. So the box office is not looking very good, I'll be honest with you. James Gunn's Superman was fourth, grossing $4 million on Friday, but they haven't said anything about the Saturday or Sunday. I find that the weirdest. That Superman's not on the list. They haven't reported on Superman, meaning either it made way less or they're fudging something. Right? I wonder if they show it on another site. Let me see. What is it called? The Numbers? Why won't it let me open up? Okay. Full weekend chart. Okay. They have it here. They have it here. So Superman made 5 million and 4 million. So this weekend it made 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 million, 13, $13.5 million this weekend. I don't know why Box Office Mojo is not showing it. So a combined grand total for Superman right now is at 551 million. 551 million compared to, what do they have here? Oh, well, that's weird. They have the number exactly the same. Oh no, it's missing. This is at 250. Okay, hold on a second. 551,256. 551. So this one has the. It's kind of weird, chat. Right? This one's reporting the weekend box office. Shows the numbers for the weekend. Box Office Mojo does not have it, but they have a higher number worldwide. How does that work? How does that work? Here's a problem with Marvel, right? The next movie out before Doomsday is Spider-Man. And Spider-Man has no connection to the Fantastic Four. So leading into Doomsday, right? If you haven't watched any Marvels since Endgame, the next movie you watch is Doomsday, and none of the films leading up to this, maybe Thunderbolts did. I didn't watch Thunderbolts, so I don't know. Leading up to Doomsday. That's not very good. The tail end of Fantastic Four shows a 30-second clip, but that's not leading into it. You know what I mean? Sarge says it works because they're making up numbers. Simple. Yeah. Jesse says Fantastic Four is a setup for Avengers Doomsday, too. It really isn't, though. It's a complete standalone movie at the very tail end. It's the mid-credit scene. Eclipse says all the people making movies now are sport brats that never had to deal with anything in their lives. I don't know, man. I think the storytelling is just, again, Fantastic Four is not a bad movie. It's a good movie. It's actually a complete story. It's good. It's a standalone story. You don't need to watch 20 things to watch the film. It's nobody cares. Nobody cares. They're having half of the population watching their films that they used to. Like 45 million people went to go watch Man of Steel. Superman has been watched by like 27 million. Roic says the girlfriend wanted to go see Jurassic Park. No, and I can say that it was worse. It was the worst one out of all of them. Very few dinosaurs and just a bad story overall. I haven't watched a Jurassic Park since Jurassic Park 3 from the original. I didn't watch any of the Chris Pratt ones. And I'm probably not going to watch this one either. Jesse says James Gunn and DC are making a new Supergirl. New Wonder Woman, too. Well, Wonder Woman, they haven't cast yet. The next two movies in that thing are... They have Supergirl and Clayface are the next two films coming out. Which I don't see. Clayface might make money because it's a smaller budget. I think it's like 40 million. I think it is 40, 45 million. But we'll see. That's still expensive. It's wild turn. RGA is coming back as Doom. It could also sell some tickets, right? Right? Here's the thing. With Superman having as many characters they had in there, not enough people had screen time. How the F are you going to do this in Doomsday? They have 33 characters announced right now. 33, 35 characters announced right now for Doomsday. That's 2 minutes per character on screen. How in the hell are you going to put that many people in the film? How do you tell a story, especially when you're paying so much money for Robert Downey Jr. himself? I don't know, Clips. The way I talked about it, I think that's the only way, but I don't think people would go. I'll be honest, I don't think people would go. Eclipse said you're right. They need to put out a version that only in the theaters, and the only way people will go. In my thing is what they call director's cut, which they release after the fact, needs to be the actual theatrical release. Okay? And that movie could be longer. It could be 2.5, 3 hours long. The people that like to go to it will go see it in theaters. And then you have to make it scarce. You have to make the version that goes in the theaters not be viewable right after. It doesn't go to the streaming services. It doesn't do anything. You get what is the theater version now, you would get at the home version. And the theatrical release would be the theatrical release, and it stays a theatrical release until like a year, maybe 2 years later, where you watch that version in theaters. That's the only way you watch it. Then you watch the shorter version or the cut down version for the home video or for the streaming. But if you want to watch the full experience, you have to go to the theater. And theaters have to do something different because nobody wants to go to theaters anymore. It's just a large living room. And most people would just rather stay at home. Titan says cameos and nostalgia will sell. I hope so. That budget of that film is going to be ridiculous. Titan says X-Men characters, no. Or X-Men characters, no story, go, go, go. There'll also be extras that also say a single line just to stand there in the action. It's going to be, you think Endgame had a lot of people in it. Forget about it. Roic says it just will be Robert Downey Jr. doing 2 hours of monologue in front of the other characters. Yeah. It's gonna be horrendous. It's gonna be horrendous. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're thinking. Honestly, I don't know what they're thinking about the Doomsday one. Okay. I want to go back to Battlefield for a second because Battlefield says 6 confirms to have skill-based matchmaking and no server browser. No server browser. The first 2 are based almost solely on trying to get the better connection and putting out the matchmaking server close enough and maintain the quality of games. Server ability likely similar to purpose. Okay, I think our server browser solution answer all these wants. Yes. Fire Portal shows the community experience is also going to reward XP, but also front and center of the menu. So unless you're likely trying to normal match in Portal, all players are shuffled through traditional matchmaking. So there is no server browser. I can't look at a server and say I want to play that server. Titan says, what happens if Brand New Day does better than Doomsday? It will. I think it will. People like Spider-Man. Spider-Man has gone up every single film, has it not? Let me look it up. All right, we got Spider-Man. We got Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. Okay, Spider-Man Homecoming, 880 million. Spider-Man Far From Home, 1.1 billion. Spider-Man, 1.9 billion. It's a lot. That's a lot. Right? Sony's got a good moneymaker here. Yeah, you put Sydney Sweeney, okay, in that film, okay, as his new love interest. Boom. Boom. Done. He won't worry about MJ anymore. Robert Jones says, I heard that you can also use Portal to browse for official servers, but I don't know if it's confirmed. I wonder if they're going to charge for servers as well, like they did in the past for other ones. Just he says, Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom. Don't going to save the MCU if Marvel movie goes well with Spider-Man 4. Nostalgia feel don't need it anymore because they have killed nostalgia. What we love about it. Yeah, look, if it breaks $1 billion, I mean, it's going to cost. I think they spent like $800 million with all the. It's ridiculous the amount of people they have. They're going to have to reboot it. If anything, the movie should start off with everyone's in a meeting room. Victor Von Doom comes in and blows up the room, and half the cast is dead within the first 10 minutes of the film. Right? That's it. Hey, everyone's in there like, hey, thanks for joining us, blah, blah, blah. This is the new thing. We're all here together. We're going to make a new organization. And then all of a sudden, Victor Von Doom walks into the room, blows up everybody. 10 minutes in, everyone's done. Then you break it down to the last 5 characters and Victor Von Doom. Done. 32 people. You have 27 dead within the first 10 minutes. Everyone walks out of the theater and says, F you, Kevin Feige, I'm done. You brought me in, I'm out. Maybe they'll kill him 45 minutes in, so that way you can't get a refund. Titan says, just a reminder, Sydney Sweeney already in Madam Web. Titan, the problem with Madam Web wasn't that Sydney Sweeney was in it. The problem is no one gives a shit about Madam Web. If you take Sydney Sweeney and put her as Black Cat, okay, or you make her Mary Jane, like, inside the actual city now that he's on his own, not the MJ that we got in that world, okay, then yeah. Completely different character. Remember, Chris Evans was Johnny Storm, and then he became Captain America, and boom. Okay? Nobody gave a shit about that. Okay? Remember, Ryan Reynolds was Green Lantern, and then went to become Deadpool, and then all of a sudden sold. Sydney Sweeney was this character no one gave a shit about, but if you put her in a character that people actually gave a shit about, then completely different thing. She's hot right now. She is hot, but she's a hot person right now. Everyone's like, well, maybe we should bring her in. I'm not saying she's in the movie, but I'm saying if you bring her in as a completely different character, completely different story. Not the MJ from Temu we got, right, but the real MJ. All right, let me see what's happening on Twitter. Guys, don't forget to go check out the video after we're done here. I made a new video talking about EA. It's called Battlefield 6. Will EA kill the hype again? Oh, 100%, Sarge. Her phone's off the charts right now. We got the Florida Panthers on the NHL 26 cover. Back-to-back champions. There you go. EA guarantees Battlefield 6 will be 60 frames per second on all consoles. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame for people that can't see 60 frames per second. That's a shame for people that can't see the 60 frames per second. They won't know the difference. They won't know the difference. What else we got here? Battlefield 6 open beta available to preload now. Okay. Rogue says, so far the Rogue build in Grounded 2 is nuts. I can almost one-shot a wolf spider with an ambush. I got to start looking into the builds for Grounded. Yeah, there's builds, Sarge. I was telling you this the other night, but apparently you weren't paying attention. I said there's different builds that you can do, and like certain things are for certain creatures. So like if you're going up against spiders, or if you're going up against the praying mantis, you want certain things to be on so you can have a build that you're doing much more damage. It's not a stabby work for everything, right? You'll do better if you have a club or a dagger or a spear or a bow. You can go into being a mage, right? You could be a rogue, a mage. Alternate says there are builds in every game if you try hard enough. Yeah, Grounded 1 there wasn't. There was no builds in Grounded 1. They actually put builds inside of Grounded 2. Yeah, you have sets and everything. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that you can do. D&D survival game when? I don't know. We'll see what happens with what the hell they're doing with it. What is this? Did someone? Oh, someone. I was like, did someone create a drop of water? That's pretty cool. Let's see. Open beta. Open beta. You can download that. The critics blame you. The pop culture critic has decided that you are too stupid for movies. Okay, I'm going to have to watch that video later. Metro Prime 4 is still scheduled to launch within the next 150 days. Okay. Here's the new price for every Nintendo console and accessory. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, so console Switch Lite is $230, was $200. Switch Lite standard $340, was $300. Switch OLED is $400, was $350. I love how people defend these corporations and love Nintendo. They're like, oh, they gotta do it because of the tariffs. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if you know this. But the tariffs only apply to goods that are coming into the country, not things that are already in the country. I don't know the last time you checked, but when you go to Target and Walmart and all those other places, the consoles are already there. They're already there. They're not coming in. They've been on the stock of the shelves for the last 2 years. Okay? But now, because they're selling so much, they decided that Nintendo was like, we need to raise the prices because of the tariffs. So the thing that was sitting on the shelf yesterday, today is $30 more, or $40 more, or $50 more. Right? Goods coming into the country. They already paid for these things, and now you got to pay for more. Controllers, the NES Switch Online, $70 was $60. I'm sorry. NES Switch Online, $70 and $60. That's online. Is that a tariff? Is that a tariff? Yeah. 70 to 60. Other accessories, Amiibos, $20 was $16. Switch 2 dock, $125 was $120. Let me read this top part here. Okay, Nintendo quietly raises the prices, almost every price of gaming hardware and accessory to sell over the weekend. With the Switch 2 itself being one of the few exceptions, some experts believe that the only matter of time before Mario Kart World Machine gets more expensive too, thanks to the ongoing tariffs. But for now, here's a full list of Nintendo's latest prices, hikes, an 8-year-old console, and more that went on with the effecting starting on August 3rd. This is asinine. Now we have Xbox raising the prices. We have Nintendo raising 8-year-old console prices. We have PlayStation raising the prices in some countries, but not in America yet. And everyone's defending, PlayStation won't do that. Sure, they won't. Okay. 2 of the 3 console makers have raised their price of their 5-year-old and 8-year-old consoles. Amazing. Right? But PlayStation is the leader of the consoles. Yet, Nintendo has doubled their sales. And they're still raising the prices. Amazing. Amazing. Robic says they also made a change to the Mario Kart, and the people hated it. It's also said they wanted it back to the change, but also really didn't do anything. Titan says Nintendo's lawyers are expensive. I guess so. I guess so. Do you think they think we're that stupid about us tariffs? Like, seriously. Right? Tariffs apply only on things that are coming into the country. If I went to Walmart yesterday and I saw a Nintendo Switch 1, right? I was actually at Best Buy this weekend, and they had Switches there. The Switch 1, OLED, right? All of them. And they were the price. Now you're telling me today if I go, they are more expensive. Why? Did they ship that out of the country and then ship it back in today? Did they voluntarily say, "Hey, we want to pay an entry fee for this product that we've already been on our shelves for the last 8 months that it hasn't sold"? Sarge says, "So are you saying that only some goods coming out of Japan are being tariffed? So Nintendo will be, but Sony won't." Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah, I guess so. It's just amazing to me that people think, like, I guess so. Ultron says maybe they loaded a truck up at midnight to Mexico and they drive it back to the U.S. and put Japan label on top of it. Maybe. It's just. I'm so tired of this stuff, man. I'm so tired of all of these companies blaming one thing or the other when obviously you can just look at it and say, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. Robert Jones says, you think they would sell all the old stock that currently here before they raise the price? You would think. You know what they could do, Jones? You know what they could do? Because they would do this. They could tell store companies to pull the product off the shelf. Right? They get a call. Ring, 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 ring. Yeah, this is Ted from the home office of Target. Yeah, Ted. We need you to remove all of our old stock of Nintendo off the shelf for about 2 weeks. Why is that? Don't ask questions. Just do what you're told. Yes, sir. And they remove all the stock off the shelf. Then you come in and go, oh, man, Nintendo Switch is sold out? Huh. That's weird. It was just here the other day. You had like 20 of them. Yeah, I don't know. The guy that's working the counter is like, well, I don't know. He's some high school kid. Doesn't give a shit about anything. Doesn't even know he's working in the electronic department. Okay. He's high off his ass. Okay. And now they go, ring, ring. Hey, it's been 2 weeks. You could load that stuff back up on the shelves now, Ted. But you just told us to take it off. Yeah, I know. Just do what I said, Ted. Yes, sir. So then Ted puts the stuff back on the stuff, and then you, the customer, think it's new product that came into the country. They didn't have to pay any more to come into the actual country, but now they get an additional $40 or $50 per product, doing absolutely nothing. They didn't ship it in. They just told them to remove it off the thing, put it back on the shelf, raise the price, and ta-da, there you go. Now, I'm not saying that they did this. I'm just saying they can. They can. Travis says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think next year I'm going to try and half the amount of games I buy and try to stop ordering more food than I can eat, or some analogy. I mean, actions are louder than words. I'll say that. You do you. Jesse says, so the PlayStation 6 have a tariff hike when new consoles come out? Yeah, 100%. 100%. So if the PlayStation 6 is supposed to be $800, now it will be $850 to $900. All right. I think that'll do it for today, because I'm that last story for Nintendo, I'm just like, just because of the tariffs, that's why Nintendo's got to raise the price. We're not talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 coming into the country now. We're talking about the Nintendo Switch 1 that's been here and sitting on shelves. But what do I know? Oh, my son was just asking about this. He wanted to know what the play buttons were for YouTube. It's 100K, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, and 400 million. And the only person to have that is Mr. Beast. That's crazy. 400 million. They had to make new play buttons just for him. Look at this. They had to make new play buttons just for him because he's the only one that's there. Like, 200 million. He's at 300 million. He's at 400 million. That's crazy. And here I am, 2,750. Amazing. All right, chat. That's going to do it for me today. I appreciate you. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for some more gaming. We'll probably play some Grounded 2 over on 30 and Still Gaming. Make sure you check out the other videos that I uploaded this morning at 9 a.m. about EA, about Battlefield 6. Will they kill the hype again? That came out this morning over here on 30NSG. Make sure you check out our Nerding with 30 channel. And if you'd like to help us out in any way, shape, or form, hit that like button, hit that comment section, hit the subscribe button. You can go become a member as little as $5. And you can also check out our album that we have called Perk Up and Press Play. That's on streaming on every single platform, any music platform there is. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, afternoon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. We're nitty Dune daily, don't you miss? Entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Controller ready, headset too. We've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Controller ready, headset too. We've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Laughs and news, our winning blend, the show with you, our dearest friend. Comments rolling, chats alive, the daily grind, 5-star vibe. Tune in daily, don't you miss? Entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. Tune in daily, don't you miss? Entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new